Shalom. First, I think about burning honor to Yahawashi, Yahawashi, Bashim, Rakadash. Double honor to Jesus, elders, and apostles of Great Millstone, likewise, brothers, but not the truth. 50 fearlessly feeding the sheep into brothers and sisters. Tuning in, Shalom. Today's lesson is titled, Fear None of These Things. And as you can see from the photo in the background, there are things that, being men of the Lord, Yahawashi, we're going to be facing. You have the jail or the imprisonment, the guillotine for the beheadings. You have the temptation of the MOTB or the mark of the beast. You have the innumerous amount of people that are going to be coming up against us, blaming us for what's happening in their lives. And you have the sword, that's wielded by this devil, Esau, the Edomite, the so-called white man. But the Malak, the Mashiach, has told us not to fear any of these things. Let's go into the book of Proverbs 29 and start verse 25, and it reads, The fear of man bringeth a snare, but whoso putteth his trust in the Lord, Yahawashi, shall be safe. So you have the fear of man because you don't understand that judgment cometh from the Lord, Yahawashi, then you are more likely to fall for all the threats, that, let's talk about Esau, Edomite, the so-called white man who's running the earth right now, is make. Think of C-19, For example, when the king of Babylon, America, who was Joe Biden at that time, looked right into the camera and basically growled at the people of Great Babylon, America, and say, "Get thee," if you know what I mean. And people did it. But to what avail? Now you see millions are unemployed, and they have the issues that are associated with taking the serpent's venom. Continuing, it says, Many seeks the ruler's favor, but every man's judgment coming from the Lord, Yahawashi. An unjust man is an abomination to the just. Esau the Edomite, the so-called white man, is an unjust man. He's an abomination to us. And he that is upright in the way is abomination to the wicked. So we are an abomination to Esau, which is the reason why you see his eyes is set on the children of Israel, so-called blacks, Native Americans, and Latinos. You had an elder brother that brought out a lesson concerning, where they would like to go and use the judgment of Deuteronomy, to bring upon unruly black men, which is basically punishes by death. Here it is that they want to hold us accountable for the actions of our people, but they don't hold themselves accountable for their actions, which, when you think about it, sodomy is supposed to be punishable by death. Murder, which Esau commits all the time, is supposed to be punishable by death. But he wants to point his finger at us. Continuing, let's go into the book of Revelation 2 and 10, and it reads, Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So we have to focus on the results of being faithful, of fearing none of the things that we are going to have to face, versus the journey or the trials and the tribulation that's associated, with being spiritual men. The reward is that crown of life, which the Mashiach himself is going to place, on the brothers that make it as part of the 144,000 men, who are going to be the governors in the kingdom to come. So you can see here, we've been told, red letter, the Mashiach is speaking, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. So see, we are going to suffer. Hence, the first part of this image, you see a jail cell, and we know what's associated with that, torture, waterboarding, and all of the other things that this devil, Esau, the Edomite, so-called white man, likes to do to his prisoners. So our mind is prepared if we be selected by the Lord Yahawashi to endure something like that. This is Revelation 20:4. It reads, "And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Hamashiach, and for the word of power, which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Hamashiach 1,000 years." This is the second part of this picture, in which you see the guillotine. Some of us are going to get our head chopped off. Okay? And yes, we're in this flesh, and you're going to be led into a room, and you're probably going to look on the floor or in a bucket or whatever they have inside there. You're going to smell death, and you're going to see a lot of heads. You're going to see people with their mouths and their eyes open. That's, them screaming just before their head is chopped off. And so they're going to be having rigor mortis, okay, which is, you're frozen. Your face is going to be frozen in that last gasp of air. Okay, you're going to see something like this. But this is something that we are told not to fear, because the prophets have had their head chopped off in the past. And it's going to happen again. Now, we don't know which brother head is going to get chopped off. So every brother in this ministry has to be prepared to have his head chopped off. Okay, you might be the one that's going to get your head chopped off, not necessarily an elder. Okay, let's go into the third part of this photo. This is Revelation 3:10. It reads, "Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth." So what is that temptation? It's going to be, you have to accept the mark of the beast, that digital RFID microchip that's going to go into your body, either in your head or in the palm of your hands, in order for you to buy or sell or to eat or to do anything or to live in this society. And we're in that time right now where they're implementing it. In fact, let's go into 2 Ezra 16 and 69, because this is what Esau really desired. Because this is going to be that test of who we really are. If we're really, the chosen one of the Mashiach. It says, "And they that consent unto them should be had in derision and in reproach and trod underfoot," meaning that you're going to be mocked and made fun of. Imagine they beat the shit out of you, put you in a prison cell, torture you a little bit, and then offer you, okay, the mark, and say, what? The God that you believe in is not going to save you. Why are you praying to an invisible power that doesn't exist? Because Esau, of course, doesn't believe that there's a power higher than him. Oh, he knows, but he's going to convince you that there isn't one that's higher than him, because he wants to be your God, okay? And if you bow the knee to Baal, if you bow the knee to the so-called white man, they will mock you and laugh at you, and you're not guaranteed anything as a result. Remember, never trust thine enemy. This is 2 Ezra 15 and start verse 1. Okay, when we go into the large multitude of people that is coming up against us currently, and that are going to come up against us even more as they blame us for the reason why they're catching hell, why they're not getting snaps, why they're not getting food stamp, why they can't pay their rent, why the so-called white man is going after so-called black people and Latino people and Native American people. They're going to be blaming us. Also, additionally, you have the Edomites coming at us, okay, which includes federal agents and sentries and hitmen and hit women and hit children, okay, you name it. All right, it says, "Behold, speak thou in the ear of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, said the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true." So what I'm reading to you, okay, this was inspired by the Lord Yahawashi. This ain't my words, I'm just the messenger. It says, "Fear not their imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness." And guess what? Key word is fate. Fate. This is what we have. Fate. Okay? The Mashiach is not standing here saying, "Hey, go ahead, Muad. I got you." Okay? Or go ahead, apostle this, or brother this, or priest this, or bishop that. Okay? So this is all fate-based. Okay? This is 2 Ezra 16 and start verse 70. We go into this crowd again. Okay, this is a two-part here, because they're speaking and then they're going to bring action against us. It says, "For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord," which is the entire 12 tribe of Israel. Okay, They should be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. It's innate in our spirit to fear Yahawashi, whether you profess to be a believer or not. Okay, we just innately fear the Lord Yahawashi. And as you can see right now, the campaign against the righteous has already started. Jacob's trouble has already started, okay, with these campaigns that are around these cities. Okay, you have Trump getting ready to go and, kill Venezuelans, okay, putting a global lie against them, saying that they're furnishing the world with drugs, when we know that's the white man, okay? Let's go into the book of Luke 12 and starting with verse 4, and looking at the final picture here with this sentry, okay, with his sword in his hand, okay, or the modern day gun, because this is how Esau has his boldness. He's bold when he's equipped. Okay, he likes to go after a target that he can easily put into the spirit world, whether it be an animal or whether it be a Hebrew Israelite, such as a black man, so-called black man, or Latino man, or Native American, or any other tribe for that matter. It says, and I say unto my friends, be not afraid of them that kill the body, and after that have no more that they can do. So if you kill my body, that, has been plagued with sickness and all kinds of other issues and stuff like that, what do you think you're doing? What else can you do? You can chop it into how many pieces you want. You can do whatever you want. You can burn it, whatever. That's all. That's it. I'm dead. At least that's what you think. But he says, but I forewarn you whom ye shall fear. Fear him, which after he had killed, had power to cast into hell. Yeah, I say unto you, fear him. So Lord, Yahawashi can put you to death, put you in the spirit world, and then bring you right back to life again, okay, and put you in hell, which is going to be a condition in life. And we're seeing that happening right now. Jake's them that are catching hell right now, these women that are walking around, bewildered because they can't get food stamps, about to get thrown out in the streets, and them and the little nigger kids and spick kids and all that, who are complaining and stuff like that. And this is just the beginning. This is their hell. See, this is their regeneration into hell. They've been put to death before. They probably were the ones that were standing, cheering Pontius Pilate to put the Hamashiach to death and prefer a murderer over their king. And here they are now getting that judgment. Let's go over the book of Matthew 24. And verse 5, it says, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. We know about the IUIC and many of these other, camps and other Christianity church and stuff like that, that are just deceiving people, either with the image of Caesar Borgia, or they're just distorting, what is being taught about our heritage, which is that we are the true biblical Hebrew Israelites. They're distorting it so that they could please their oppressor, Esau, the so-called white man. It says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of war. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Here's a video clip you're seeing right now watching, the United States is preparing. The United States military is preparing to go to war with China, Russia, and all these other nations that's going to come up against it. It says, for nation shall rise up against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. You can't buy food, you're going to experience famine. There's earthquakes. There's famine on this earth. There's famine here in Great Babylon, America. There's pestilence. People who took the C-19 jump juice, guess what? They're experiencing health issues, associated with that. Not just your normal cough, but things that there's no cure for. Occurs, of course, depends on the geological location that you are going to experience those things. We experience a lot of those here, even in Great Babylon, America, places like California, and even out here in Texas. It says all these are the beginning of sorrows. The beginning of sorrows, man. That should make you tremble right there. The beginning. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. Whose sake? Yahawashi Mashiach's sake. Now you have to understand that a lot of things took place in the past, but a lot of these same things that's taken place in the past is also taking place right now, What was in the past is also happening in the present. Okay, it says, and then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. We can stress it enough how people are going to turn on people, and the mental state that people are going to be in when they find themselves, desolated, or not, being able to go around their so-called friends, or their friends, turn their backs on them because they can't help them, or whatever the case is like that, or they don't want them around because they're falling on hard times. It's going to be just one of those things that people are going to have to deal with, the mental and the physical state of the tribulation here in Great Babylon, America, and all across this earth. And it says, but he that shall endure unto the end, okay, meaning you fear none of these things, you trust and have faith in Yahawashi, the same shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. And the internet is doing just that. Okay, the Lord Yahawashi set up YouTube. Yeah, we know the company Google is prospering from it, but that's how the Lord deals with things, okay? Because of course, Esau has to get his cut. But this is the Lord Yahawashi story. Okay, so this lesson has been fear none of these things. Okay, Lord willing, the legacy of the Father, to close up by giving all glory and honor to Yahawashi, Shalom.